Hi, everyone. Welcome to our You're One Call Away from Changing Your Life with Fiona May and Sandra Lee. Ladies, we wanted to bring this to you on a regular basis so that you can get updates, get what's topical, but also we'd love for you to know a little bit more about us and why we're doing what we're doing. So today is our big, hairy why. And I'm going to hand over to Fiona because she is the founder of Women on Transition. I came in on a later date and we'll share a little bit about that as we go along. But Fiona, we're going to play a bit of question tennis. I'm going to get a chance to ask you things and she doesn't know what questions I'm going to ask. So put her on the spot. And if you've got any questions you'd love to ask as well, please put them down afterwards as well. Fiona, what got you started on Women on Transition?
Okay, well, welcome, ladies. So truth is that I went through a divorce in midlife at 46 years old, unexpected, and I really just wanted to not get stuck. I was, after the initial shock wore off, I was committed to not allowing this to derail me and for it to take away all my future and my plans, and I never wanted to be sad. So when I couldn't find people that, groups and other people that had been through divorce and had rebuilt and weren't negative or weren't, man haters, or I just couldn't find the groups that I wanted. So when they weren't there, I just decided I'd create my own. So that's how I started. And that's why I started, because I really just wanted to be a positive voice. And I wanted to show people by example that we can get through this and we don't have to remain stuck. And that, we can't change what life gives us sometimes and what we get dealt, but what we absolutely can do is we can change the way that we react to it, and we're in control of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So for you, Miss Sandra, what made you want to get involved and to be part of this community and now one of the co-owners with me?
I only connected in at this level about 18 months ago, but I've been observing Fiona for years. We've been great friends, best friends for 15 plus years, and we both went through my second and Fiona's first divorce about the same time, a month or so apart from each other, and we weren't expecting it. Neither of us were. My husband at the time had an affair, and I sort of found out in a hurry and left pretty much the next day, moved out, and it sort of went in separate ways from there. And I really saw the difference Fiona was making to people's lives, and I saw how passionate she was to the cause and why she started it. And I saw also the pain that she went through firsthand, going through her divorce and how hard it was. And there was no support out there, that we were sort of trying to help each other, and there was nothing out there that was positive, healing, growing network or community. And good on her. She's the one that said, you know what, I can't find it, so I'm going to make it. And she built the field, and she's created this safe, amazing space, and people have come to it. And it was just on 18 months ago last year that I decided that I would step down from my global business and step away and not retire, but rewire. We're both the same age. We're 56 now, and the ability for us we've got a long way ahead to still go, and we're still so young. Both of our partners, my husband, fiance, have retired, and so they wanted us to travel more and hang out more and spend more time with them. And Fiona had it a few years back, transitioned the business over to her son, who was a lead in the business at the time, and he's still involved now. But certainly him moving away and having a baby and starting a family changed things for them. And Fiona said, I think there's a real opportunity here that we could do something together. And what about if we come back in and we could create, Women on Transition 2.0, and we evolve it from there. And that's sort of where we were literally sitting around the pool drinking cocktails on Boxing Day, just thinking, well, what are we going to do with ourselves? And our big thing was, how can we give back? And my passion and my purpose in life is how I can make a difference, especially to women. And having gone through 2 divorces, my first was when I was 35 and with 2 small kids. They were 5 and 8 at the time. And my ex was very abusive, and it was a very unsettling time for quite a period there. And I after being with him for 18 years, I really got to the point that I felt I had no confidence, and I didn't know who to turn to or who to trust. And I didn't even think at that point that I could even leave the marriage or even survive leaving the marriage. So when I did, it was quite a step back before we could move forward, had businesses to separate, and we had debt to work out, we had assets, and it was just crazy, and it was really hostile environment to do it all in. And so stepping out of that and moving away, and then getting into another relationship that was for 12 years and marrying someone again that wasn't quite right for me, but I just hadn't done my work to heal. So this was just such a great personal cause that I know that we don't want anyone else to go through what we've had to go through on our own, and to know that there's a pathway there and there's a way through that takes some of that pain out as well.
So one of the things that I really love about, our relationship and the way that Sandra and I work is that Sandra and I's background is very similar, but it's also very different. And although we've both been through divorces, our marriages were very different. Like, my ex-husband was a nice guy. He was a good guy. He was, easygoing and laid back. But through our relationship, I became, the doer, and I became the decision maker, and I became the person who really drove everything and took all the responsibility. And, although we worked together as a team, we always joke that I was the brains and he was the brawn. But, I reveled in that, that role of being the decision maker, and I loved it. But what that actually did in my relationship was to emasculate my husband, and I wasn't aware of that at the time. And he got to the stage that he felt that I didn't need him anymore. And, truth is that I didn't actually need him, but I loved him and I wanted to be married. But, I didn't understand relationships. I didn't understand polarity. I didn't understand masculine and feminine energy. So I didn't realize what I was doing in our relationship was damaging, our relationship. And when we didn't have the skills to navigate through our challenges, and my husband having a midlife crisis, we didn't know how to navigate through that as a couple. And so, for us, we lost a really great friendship. We lost a really great relationship. We actually loved being married, but we slowly drifted apart. And I now know so much more than what I did at that stage. So, I have a very different marriage and background than what Sandra did, what was much more abusive and toxic. But what that's allowed us to do is to understand lots of different ladies' situations and backgrounds. And, we're both smart, switched on women. We're both self-made. We're both financially, secure and independent. And we come to this work to use those skills, use those tools, and to help other ladies be able to navigate through any situation that they're facing. And, over the years, we've got 20,000 ladies on in our Facebook group. We've coached individually over 1,000 ladies through our top end programs. And we constantly, when we have events, we have, 100, 200 ladies in the room each time that we're working with for 3 days. And the work we do is life transforming. And, it's just too important not to do. And my bottom line is, I hate to see women suffer. I don't want you to waste 1 minute of your life, thinking is this all that there's going to be for you? Because I totally believe that, you know, as midlife women, this is the best time of our life, and we should be, you know, moving through this process with us minimizing the damage that it does to us, minimizing the damage it does to our kids, and dealing with it, putting it behind us, and then being able to create something special for ourselves. Because I think, you know, we deserve that. Most of us have been good wives, been good mums, and we've done the best we could with the tools that we had. But the truth is that we've all got blind spots. We don't know what we don't know. And unless we grow and unless we open our mind and we learn new tools and skills, then we're going to just repeat our past. And that's not something what I want you to do, ladies. You know, if you've come through a toxic marriage, or you've, you know, been married to a negative or destructive person, you don't want to be attracting that sort of person again. And I can guarantee you, if you want to know what your future is going to be, all you've got to do is look at the past. Because unless you grow beyond the pain and unless you get new tools and skills, all you're going to do is recreate the past into the future. Different name, different place, different guy, but the patterns are all the same because the psychology is the same. So I think that's why it's so important. And, you know, my mission is to educate and make ladies emotionally healthy so they make better choices.
And teaching the women emotional intelligence. Can you give an example of somebody that's gone through from learning and lifting and raising their thinking? Because I'm seeing it firsthand as well. But there's every single woman that comes through, not just at the 3-day event, they already are getting moves and shifts, and they're already having a greater awareness of their own responsibility, their own behaviors, the impact of even how they grew up and their family and where they fitted into that sort of family tree, and the siblings and all the peer personalities. So that we teach them all of that, but the impact that it has and how it changes lives is just amazing, how it does truly transform. But can you give an example, Fiona, of somebody that's gone through and the shifts that they've learnt through understanding emotional intelligence and their own behaviours and the change it's made on their lives?
So, you know, of course, we look after all of our clients and we don't ever speak about, you know, people individually. However, we do have some mentors in the group who share their stories, and, you know, they're okay with us being able to share their stories. But I want to tell you that we've got hundreds of ladies where, you know, them healing themselves heals their whole family. You know, we have a lot of cases where going through divorce, you lose a lot of friendships, you become estranged sometimes from your children even. And one thing I hear all the time is ladies say to me, I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would, you know, my relationship with my kids will have been affected like it has been. And that's really devastating for a lot of ladies to have to face, is that, you know, their divorce also affects the whole family. And sometimes women who, you know, always felt like they'd overgiven, you know, been a people pleaser, and that they have put their kids first, sometimes they feel very hurt, very betrayed, and, you know, very sad that their relationship has suffered. And, you know, when emotion goes up, intellect goes down. And so when there's a lot of emotion in situations, people often don't think straight and they make poor decisions. And what we do through educating people is to be able to navigate with confidence. So, you know, we've got lots of our ladies. One of our ladies is Jules. And if you've been around our circles, you'll meet Jules because she's a great supporter. She's done her own work and she continues to be involved in the company and in the, you know, as a volunteering, as a mentor to support other ladies, because she's seen firsthand the impact that it's made on her own kids. She was navigating through her relationship loss, and then she lost a mum, and that's another thing at our age. You know, a lot of people are dealing with aging parents, and so we've got, you know, aging parents, we've got menopause, we've got the loss of our relationship, we've got, you know, estranged kids or damaged relationships. So a lot of ladies at this stage have got a lot on their plate, so it is very taxing and emotionally, you know, challenging. But Jules had lost contact with a couple of her boys, and it was heartbreaking. You know, she really didn't have much of a relationship. She was missing her grandchildren, and through her doing her work and her healing and her being able to make sense of what had happened and to stop blaming, complaining, you know, being able to process confidently, Jules was able to become a better person herself. You know, she didn't need to get her kids to emotionally support her. She was, you know, whole and complete in making the decisions and being able to, you know, show up as her best self. And then that allowed her to rebuild her relationship with her kids. And I'm really excited and happy for Jules that, you know, her two boys are coming over for her other son's wedding in September, and they're going to get to celebrate as a family something that Jules never wondered, you know, never thought was going to happen again. And that's just one story, but we see these stories every day of the week, that women, you know, literally changing every area of their life. Some ladies just, you know, had never asked for pay rises, never had the confidence to speak up, never had healthy boundaries. And the work we do gives them all of those skills. And so they're able to really, you know, be valued and have the respect that, you know, they always should have had, but they've always, you know, never had the confidence to, you know, expect for themselves. And so, you know, when ladies start to believe in themselves and when they start to do this inner healing work, it literally changes every relationship in their life, and their outcomes are very different from what they were previously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Miss Sandra, you've been through a different relationship. You know, your relationship wasn't, you know, as happy and joyful as what mine was. And there was a lot of fear and a lot of, you know, intimidation and threats. And so, you know, a lot of ladies in those situations stay stuck, and sometimes they're planning their escapes, but there's a lot of fear tied up in all of that, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one of the things for me was, you know, I was only 20 when I got married, and a lot of us, you know, I'd started dating my ex when I was 17. And so I had no life experiences. And the first time I lived with him was when after our wedding. And so we didn't even live together in advance. I had no life. I'd traveled and I had sort of moved out of home young, but I hadn't had relationship experience. And I didn't have it from my family either. My mum raised me as a single parent for several years before she remarried, and my nana raised us and her daughters as a single mother as well. So we had this background of not having any stable man in our lives and that was certainly not our father. And I think that was a big thing for us. And me learning I didn't even understand masculine and feminine. I certainly it wasn't even on my radar. And it's a completely new language as you go through and you understand emotional intelligence. The language provides for you an understanding and the tools. And for me, I made a decision that I was going to baby step my way out of it because I didn't know how to do it in one big leap. And I only made the decision when I saw the impact it was having on the kids. And interestingly, we can put up with so much been happening to us, but as soon as there's some approach to your kids and you see the impact, and I just did not want my little girl to grow up and think that it was okay to be treated like this, and I certainly didn't want my son to grow up to think it's okay to treat someone like this. And that was my pivot point, that I had if it wasn't for me that I could do it for them. And you know, ladies, there's so much support and so much help. We see women and work with women who have been a heartbeat away from, you know, suicide, have felt there's nowhere to go, that have been scammed and they've lost all their money and their confidence, and or they've just stepped out and they're hiding in their house and not going out shopping. And we know ladies that have been there for months and not even stepping outside the house. So know that this is a really trusted space and you are literally one call away. And we know where you've been. It might not be your story, but we know how to give you the tools and support you to get out of that. And it is a process to get the progress, and it does work.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, ladies, we see lots of ladies who are very competent and capable in their life, have got good jobs and, you know, excelling in some areas, but there's other areas of their life, and it's often their relationships and their dating that has, you know, they don't have the confidence, they don't have the knowledge and the skills. And what we want to do is encourage you not to jump into dating, not to listen to all the advice out there, not to do what you did when you were younger and went from relationship to relationship, because what we see in midlife is very different. It's a different experience, and you need a different set of skills than what you needed when you were younger, because our bottom line is we don't want to see women continuing to get hurt. But if you want to be in a beautiful relationship, we're very confident that it's absolutely possible for you. And, you know, we show ladies how to navigate and get the result that they want. So, you know, if you're just coming out of a relationship and you think that you'll never date again, that's okay. You know, what we actually want is for you not to date until you've done your healing work. And, you know, this work is very, very valuable. So, you know, bottom line is we know you're one call away from changing your life. And if you want to do that work and have a chat to us, we can jump on a free call, have a discussion, see where you're at. And if what we do and the programs that we offer are a good fit for you, we can tell you about those. And if they're not, we will steer you in the direction of something that serves you. We don't have any interest in bringing people into our programs unless we know in our heart that we're going to get them the results that we want and they want, and we want them to be our next success story. So I think that's one thing Sandra and I both have in common. We don't need to do this work. We could just retire. We do it because we are passionate about it.
We did retire. We came back.
And we love helping people. And, you know, we know that we've got 20 or 30 or 40 years left to, you know, have retirement, but we're a little bit young to just do nothing. So we really love the work we're doing. So if what we do and what we've talked about, if it resonates with you, book a free call and have a chat to us. And we would love to connect and see how we can help you.
We'd love to meet you.
So, all right, ladies, bye for now. And if you're around and you haven't booked a ticket to come to our next 3-day event, you can also do that. That's in September in Melbourne and Sydney, and you can have a look in our Facebook group for details on that. So bye for now.
See ya.